Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Taming of the Shrew, and today we get to hear from Katherine in Act 3, Scene 2, which is fun because it means that we skipped Act 3, Scene 1. But we are officially in Act 3 now, which is nice. Shakespeare did designate Act 3, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, the things that have happened, Petruchio decided that yes, he will marry Katherine, whether or not she wants to marry him, and they're going to get married on Sunday. And Tranio and Gremio were fighting over who's going to get to marry Bianca. And remember, Tranio is pretending to be Lucentio. Sorry, so many names. And he was winning the battle, but he has to prove that he actually has all of the things that he promised to give Bianca if he's able to marry her before he gets to marry her. And the wedding of Bianca and whichever of her suitors will take place the week after Katherine marries Petruchio. So that was the ending of Act 1, Act 2. That whole great big thing. So Act 3, Scene 1 is a cute little scene. We have Lucentio and Hortensio both there to tutor Bianca. Hortensio needs to tutor her in music. Lucentio is pretending to be Cambio. Hortensio is pretending to be Licio. Lucentio is pretending to be Cambio. And Lucentio is there to tutor her in Latin. And they're like, you know, it's my turn to teach. It's my turn to teach. Until finally Bianca is like, okay, I can set my own schedule. So why don't you go over there and tune your lute? She says that to Hortensio, even though she thinks he's Licio. And she says, while Cambio, Lucentio, is over here teaching me Latin. And by the time your lute is tuned, we'll be done with my Latin lesson, and then I can learn some music. So, of course, it's not a smooth thing, and Lucentio keeps interrupting while Hortensio is trying to teach. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, Hortensio is the music one. Hortensio keeps interrupting while Lucentio is trying to teach. And then Lucentio starts to think that maybe she actually likes Hortensio and starts thinking that Hortensio actually likes her. But then Hortensio gives her a love letter that's kind of sad, and she's very not impressed by it. But then a messenger comes in and says, Bianca, you're needed tomorrow. Your sister is getting married, so you have to help like decorate and get her ready and all that sort of thing. So Bianca leaves, and Hortensio is like, oh, I don't need to be here if she's not here. And then Lucentio is like, haha, somebody else is trying to win her, so I'm going to have to like double down. And that's the end of Act 3, Scene 1. So Act 3, Scene 2, it's wedding day, and we are at Baptista's house, and we've got Baptista and Katherine and loads of people hanging around. They are waiting for Petruchio to show up because Katherine is there, like ready to get married, and the priest is there and all that sort of thing. And Baptista's like, so, where is Petruchio? Is he actually going to be arriving here? And he turns to, I'm going to say Lucentio. No, it's actually Tranio pretending to be Lucentio. And he's like, so what do you think about this our shame? And Katherine says, no shame but mine. I must forsooth be forced to give my hand opposed against my heart unto a mad brain rudesby, full of spleen, who wooed in haste and means to wed at leisure. I told you, he was a frantic fool, hiding his bitter jests in blunt behavior, and to be noted for a merry man, he'll woo 1,000. Point the day of marriage, make friends, invite and proclaim the banes, yet never means to wed where he hath wooed. Now must the world point at poor Katherine and say, lo, there is mad Petruchio's wife. If it would please him, come and marry her. So she's feeling rather crappy. She didn't want to marry him in the first place, but to be stood up by a guy like that, because also keep in mind Petruchio is the only man that will marry her, and he's only marrying her for her dowry. And as rude and spiteful as she might be, it's been announced to the whole town that she's supposed to be marrying Petruchio, and now he stood her up. This whole thing was his idea, and now he's standing her up. So that's humiliating for her. It's flat out humiliating. And she thinks that he's the kind of guy that goes all over the place and makes all kinds of promises, but then never actually wants to follow through on any of them. And she like runs back inside or back into another room, whatever. She leaves the stage crying, and she's followed by Bianca and some other people. But then Biondello shows up, who is a sort of a messenger, sort of a servant kind of a person, and he's like, I have news, and they're like, about Petruchio, like, where is he? And we'll find out more about Biondello's message in regards to Petruchio's whereabouts in tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then for that. Mwah.